Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to March 2nd already. Wow. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off, and we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, and we'll start with a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Barnes.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Wheaton. Kraus.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Domingo.
Here. Thank you. I'm going to start right off here with an amendment to the agenda. If we could take C on the second page, the discussion and approval of the new sidewalk assessment policy. I'd like to take that off completely.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Is that going to be a roll call?
Yeah, table.
Roll call vote, please, to remove it.
Councilmember French.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Wheaton. I'm sorry, Brown.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
And Mayor Domingo.
Yes, thank you. And another amendment to add Cullen Harkness and Boudwin Law Office in the place of that.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
And Mayor Domingo.
Yes, thank you. Anything else I forget?
Councilmember comments.
Yes. Mayor and council member comments this evening. Are there any comments from the council? Yes, Cheryl?
I was at a meeting this afternoon, and there's still some confusion about the recycling center, whether or not you have to remove labels, whether or not you have to bring them in just things that they can dispose of when they get there, or if you can bring them in containers that are reusable and they'll bring them back to your car. There were quite a few citizens there this afternoon that have used the service, and they're willing to work with the service, but they're confused. They also they said they had they did not realize that you had to separate office paper from newspapers and then from your circulars there's just a lot of confusion. I'm not sure how we can clear it up, but I have heard that. However, I also have heard that it's wonderful. So I think if we can clear up the confusion, people will begin to, like it. I just think that there's some confusion as to what they'll take and how they'll take it.
Any comments from?
Well, it's my understanding they hand out some information when they arrive, but we'll work with them to continue to try to get that out to the public, to let them know the specifics of how to most effectively use the recycling
Yeah,
center.
I think so. Yeah, go.
So I might add that if it's possible to put something in the advisor or the Marshall thing or the local paper, and if we could have it posted. I don't know if there probably isn't a place out at the recycling center where we can post those rules, but maybe we could put something out at Family Fair. Just trying to think of ways that we can, there are community not billboards, but sign posting out here in front of City Hall, but also down in various buildings in town, and so I think you're right. I think getting the information has always been an issue in Albion, of trying to get everybody informed about things, so anything we can do to do that would be helpful.
Any further comments? Yes, Colin.
As most of the council is already aware now, today I tendered notice of resignation with my current firm. It's going to be effective April 24th of 2015. The rest of the East Lansing staff is following. It's been a pleasure representing the city of Albion, and I hope to be able to continue to do so in the future.
Thank you.
Maybe we could also put on the website about the thing too, because I knew from the presentation that they gave that boxes were better if they were broke down, so I had a bunch of boxes the other day, and I broke them down and took them. And so they were very happy that they were broke down, so maybe if it was somewhere where people could copy it off and just have it, just like we do when we have the leaf pickup dates, that would be helpful.
Okay, good. Okay. Any further comments from the council? Seeing none. Tonight, citizens' comments. Person addressing the city council shall limit their comments to agenda items only and to no more than 5 minutes. Proper protocols and decorum is required. Are there any comments on the agenda this evening from the citizens? See none. We'll go into our presentation. Our first one is from Star Commonwealth Update with Gary Tester.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Domingo, members of council, thank you for having me out. My name is Gary Tester. I'm the Chief Development Officer for Star Commonwealth and one of the Executive Vice Presidents. I've been at Star for 4 years, and it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to come and provide you an update on what's going on with Star Commonwealth. When we had a meeting with Cheryl Mitchell and others over at our offices, one of the things that she shared with us, and we know that it's out there, is there continues to be quite a great deal of confusion regarding what STAR is doing, what the status is of our campus here in Albion, and frankly, what the rest of the organization is doing. And so we as an executive team thought it would be great if we would take advantage of the invitation and come and provide you that update. So let me start by saying that STAR's residential campus in Albion is alive and well. What we've done is simply worked with Sequel Youth and Family Services to come in and manage our residential program. Through the state of Michigan, STAR remains the licensee, the contractor, and we are the accredited body that oversees all the residential programming. We've simply engaged a management company that works with 40 different states around the United States for children in child welfare and juvenile justice to make sure that they receive appropriate care. And so we found that they were a very good partner for us. You may know, depending upon how well you know Star Commonwealth, that for years we've engaged in a treatment philosophy called positive peer culture, essentially helping young people to work with one another to help them learn to deal with the issues that they face. It's staff-directed but peer-led. And we found that Sequel Youth and Family Services was a national organization that was capable of doing that treatment philosophy. In fact, they employ it at their other facilities, including Lakeside Academy in Kalamazoo. So we found them to be a very good partner. Today, our census is approximately 100 young men from the state of Michigan, just as it was 4 months ago when STAR was still running residential programming. We do have capacity on campus for 225 young men, and one of the things that STAR will be doing with Sequel is taking a look at what other service opportunities might exist in terms of children needing residential care that we can then work with to develop new programs. A couple of general ideas, there's nothing locked in yet, but one of the ones we've talked about, more and more in today's world, young people are traumatized because of very difficult circumstances they experienced growing up, and those then contribute to the instances they find themselves in court in. There's been talk about developing trauma-specific cottages, where you can work just on issues involving trauma for young people that really have that as a primary lead. The other thing we've talked about is children in the public sector who have autism spectrum disorders. We have quite a great deal of experience at STAR, And one of the things that many people may not know is most of the staff that are working now for Sequel on our campus were STAR employees on November 30th and became Sequel employees on December 1st. So all that experience and all that expertise in that area are still very much a part of our campus. So we wanted to start there. Any rumors you've heard about STAR becoming for-profit, any rumors you've heard about STAR being bought out by Sequel Youth and Family Services are simply nothing more than delightful rumors. I'm here to dispel those. Second of all, we would like to share the other things that STAR is doing. Many of you know that we've engaged with the school system here over the last year and a half to work on some of the transition issues for the high school in terms of students who found themselves moving to other school districts. We partnered with Albion College, and we were able to do, I think, some really good work with young people from both Albion and Marshall in helping to bring kids together and learn how to predict areas of struggle and tension and work through those in a proactive way. Everything we've heard is that that continues to go well, and we did some more summer programming this summer. We've also begun working in Battle Creek with folks from the school district and other mental health professionals and community citizens to train them in understanding trauma. One of STAR's big programs through what we call our STAR Global Learning Network is the National Institute for Trauma and Loss in Children, or TLC. Through TLC, we have engaged in a grant with United Way of Battle Creek and Kalamazoo, where over a 2-year period we are training a number of people in the Battle Creek community in trauma and working with them then to begin an in-house training program so that it sustains itself without the continued involvement of STAR, which is a model we use internationally. One of the things that many folks don't understand about STAR Commonwealth, for years we were a glorious campus in Albion, Michigan, and kids who needed help came to us. Well, the world has changed today, and more children are receiving services in their homes and in their communities. And so we have the 100 young people who are on our campus, but we actually serve about 2,000 people a day. We run a charter school in Harper Woods, Michigan, which is on the east side of the city of Detroit. That school today is a K-7 school. It's in its 3rd year of operation, authorized by Central Michigan University. And we have 853 students who are attending that school. And we are producing what we consider to be very good academic results. And as you might imagine, if you're familiar with STAR, we also concentrate on what we call the social and emotional backpack. It's simply not enough to help children succeed academically. We need to take account of the other issues that they face. So all of our teachers are trained in trauma. All of our teachers are trained in positive youth development. And then we also bring a program that we have called Glasswing, which many of you know about, which is healing of racism. We bring those theories and constructs to the educational building as well to work with our staff to understand the issues that may exist in a school building. The STAR Global Learning Network trains about 17,000 professionals a year in all 50 states and 65 foreign countries. And so the STAR Commonwealth of Albion, Michigan, I would like to share with you is an organization that has incredible international reach. We're not quite sure how to explain that to folks, but we're setting out, starting with you as a group of elected officials here in our hometown, to share with you that information. In addition to the charter school and in addition to the work that we do through the Global Learning Network, the other area that we've grown into is behavioral health, mental health services, alcohol and other drug treatment services, and then services for children, adolescents, and adults with developmental disabilities. The beautiful thing about these services is they're provided in the community, primarily in the home, but also in Harper Woods we have an autism center. And we serve about 1,800 people a day or a week just through in-home services in all along the 94 corridor from Detroit all the way over to Lake Michigan. So STAR today is a very vibrant organization. We've gone through restructuring. We've had to look at the traditional business models that we've used. For years, going back to the time of Uncle Floyd, we worked with kids who were sent by communities, DHS, county courts, and we took them into residential care or foster care, and we worked with those children, got them ready to go back home when we sent them there. Today the world is more complicated. Fewer children come into residential care, more children require in-home services, and we are doing all that we can to try and meet those needs where the children are. I plan to leave behind tonight for you a brochure we produced called Wherever They Need Us. And it really is, our mission continues to be to create positive environments where children flourish. We just now see that transitioning from our Albion campus, not only maintaining it there, but moving into homes and communities to try and make everything work for the betterment of children. So with that, I will be quiet. I'd be happy to entertain any questions that anyone has.
Any questions, Council? Wow, you're getting off easy.
It's okay, I don't mind a bit.
There you go. Gary, we thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. My pleasure.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
it will be the first of many.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
Whose phone was that? Please stand up.
It was
Our next presentation is from the Albion Lions Club with Dick Lewin.
Mayor Domingo, City Manager Mitchell, members of the Albion City Council and staff. My name is Richard Lewin. People call me Dick. And I am serving as this year's president of the Albion Lions Club. And I'm here to announce something that's very exciting. Albion Lions Club has been working for about 5 years now to try to come up with a project that would twin our club with the Noisy-Bailly Lions Club in France as a part of the sister city arrangement. In France, they don't call it a sister city, they call it a twinning, a jumelage. So we are trying to twin the two Lions clubs. Have been trying to come up to do that. Lions International has a program whereby if two Lions clubs in different countries work on a common project, then that qualifies them to be twinned. And so the difficulty has been trying to find some way in which to twin the two clubs with a common project. Now I'm going to back up historically just a little. I don't know the dates, but there was, back when Mayor Wheaton was mayor of Albion and the Sister City project was getting off the ground, a short time after that happened, there was a windstorm that went through Noisy-Bailly and Versailles and took down about 1,000 trees. The city of Albion, in the sister city arrangement, sent money to Noisy-Bailly for the purpose of helping to replant trees that had been destroyed in that storm. Guess what happened in Albion about 1.5 years ago? We had a straight windstorm that came through. And in the conversations back and forth between the sister city committees, the word got out that we had lost around 1,000 trees, if not more, in the greater Albion area. The Lions Club in Noisy-Bailly said, it's time for us to pay back. And so they began talking with us about this being the project. And we discussed with the tree committee that the price of trees would be $30 a tree. And then they decided in Bailly and Noisy that they would purchase 30 trees. They would come up with $900 US and send that to our Lions Club, which we now have that check in hand. And our Lions Club will do the planting when the weather allows. So I'm announcing tonight that at least 30 new trees will be planted in the city of Albion thanks to the twinning of the two Lions Clubs, the Lions Club of Noisy-Bailly and the Lions Club of Albion.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Amy DeShawn. I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce.
Our next presentation is from
Let's
the
just get
Chamber.
started. You all, I'm sure, are aware, but the citizens of Albion might not be aware that there is a vote on May 5th, and pertaining to it are two local millages. One is for the renewal of the rec department, and another is for the renewal of the streets millage. The Chamber of Commerce has taken it upon itself to come out with two proclamations in support of the citizens voting for the two renewals. And I thought I would read those to you so that it can get into the record. Proclamation supporting City of Albion Recreation Millage Renewal. Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors. Whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce is the local voice of and for business in our community. It exists to develop and express business opinion and to promote the best interests of the community along civic, commercial, industrial, and professional lines. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce strongly believes that the success of business and industry depends upon the health and wellness of the entire community. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce has reviewed national health statistics indicating that leisure time and recreational activities reduce stress and thereby the incidence of depression, improve self-esteem and thereby mental health, increase cognitive and body function, and lower systolic blood pressure and body mass index. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau knows that many of our employees and their families utilize the multitude of recreational activities available to them throughout the City of Albion Rec Department during their leisure hours. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau has reviewed the City of Albion's tax revenues and verified that they are inadequate to pay for recreational programs in and of themselves. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the undersigned Board of Directors of the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau, do hereby proclaim chamber support for the renewal of the recreation millage scheduled for a vote of the citizens on May 5th, 2015. The Chamber encourages all citizens to actively support the City of Albion's efforts to provide healthy, diverse, and comprehensive recreational activities for our youth, adults, and seniors, and to vote yes for the renewal of the City of Albion recreation millage. We have another one for the streets renewal. Whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau is the local voice of and for the business community, it exists to develop and express business opinions and to promote the best interests of the community along civic, commercial, industrial, and professional lines. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau strongly believes that the success of the entire community depends upon the prosperity of business and industry. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau knows that the basic infrastructure and adequate road quality are essential to the proper flow of the economy. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau has verified that under 3.1B3 of the city charter, and thereby the citizens, taxpayers of this city, has the sole jurisdiction of the streets and alleys and the space above and beneath them within the city. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau has reviewed the 2008 street assessment and assessment management program, wherein the conditions of our roads were elucidated and seen the 2008 street ratings map by Wade Trim and Associates, wherein the roads repairs are prioritized. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau has confirmed that after Erie Street is reconstructed in the summer of 2015, Fund 450 of the City of Albion budget pertaining to the maintenance and reconstruction of Albion streets will be zero. And whereas the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau has substantiated that the City of Albion tax revenues are inadequate to pay for road repair and maintenance in and of itself, now therefore be it resolved that we, the undersigned Board of Directors of the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau, do hereby proclaim chamber support for the renewal of the streets millage scheduled for a vote of the citizens on May 5th. The Chamber encourages all citizens to actively support the City of Albion's efforts to provide safe, well-constructed, and repaired roads within the city of Albion and vote yes for the renewal of the city of Albion streets millage. The Board of Directors of the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce are Gary Grigowski, Board Chair. He is the co-owner of Team One Plastic. Mike Timku, Board Vice Chair, owner of Murray Timku and Associates. Troy Case, Board Treasurer. He works for Albion College. Dick Lewin, Board Secretary, co-owner of the Albion Heritage Bed and Breakfast. Brandy Eggleston works for Edward Jones. Colin McCaleb, KCC EAC. Kathy Payne, Standard Printing and Office Supply. Mark Putfin State Farm. Kelly Rice, Albion Insurance Agency. Trevor Shedd, Parks Drugstore. Bill Stauffer, Velocity Manufacturing, and Jerry Lynn Williams Harper, Albion Public Schools.
Thank you very much, Amy. Next is our consent calendar. A and B will be voted on together. Approval for special council meeting session minutes from February 5th and approval of council session minutes from February 17th.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Are there any questions? Not. Roll call, or a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. It passes. Individual discussion items are A, request approval resolution of 2015-12 requesting reallocation of MERS assets.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported. Cheryl, do you want to?
Mayor Domingo, with your permission, I would like to ask Finance Director Tom Mead to come forward and give an overview and respond to any questions.
Thank you. Tom Mead, Finance Director. Forgot where I was at for a minute here. A few weeks ago, we received an invoice from MERS, and those of you, the council members, probably, if you think back, can kind of remember going through this process before. Periodically, when MERS does the actuarial, they'll determine on all the different divisions that we have the pensions for, they'll go through and determine, it's kind of a twofold thing. Part of it is based on your liability versus your assets. Another part of it is the activity that occurs there that has to cover their costs for administering it. And based on that actuarial, they ended up sending us an invoice this year. We hadn't received an invoice for a while. And it was just because some of the divisions were out of adjustment a little bit, I guess, if you will, for lack of a better word, where some were overfunded, some were underfunded. We talked about this some, and I think what we decided would work best, since we had not budgeted for this invoice, which would be a reoccurring monthly invoice, is to go ahead this year and do what we had done in the past, which is take some of the funds from the overfunded divisions and move it or shift them to the underfunded, and that would get us away from the monthly invoice this year. However, what our concern is, we don't want to keep doing that and run the risk of potentially being underfunded all the way around. So by doing this year, it's going to buy us a little bit of time. We are in the process of talking to MERS, and they are going to put together a long-term projection for us so we can kind of see where these divisions may be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years out. And going forward, depending on what we find from those projections, we can, if we have to, figure some repayment into the budgets going forward if that's necessary. And just to give you an idea, we're talking of shifting a total of just over $11,000, and the total in all the divisions, excluding the Albion housing, is about 13.4 million. So it's a small amount. It's just an issue of moving it from some of the overfunded to the underfunded. So any questions with that?
if we do that for this year, how are we gonna make up for it next year? Are we gonna put stuff aside, or?
I think that's what we wanna find out from MERS is, where I guess you gotta remember, a lot of this pension stuff goes back to the hospital when
Oh,
they
yeah.
had the nurses, unfortunately. And what we're hoping is we're gonna get to a point, cause that hospital closed long enough ago, that division's been closed, there's no, you've got a few people that are drawing on it and stuff, but there's not any younger people, new employees coming in, and, it's a downfall that they're not contributing, but it's also an issue that the future liability sort of stops, you don't have new employees coming in. So that's what we're kind of hoping is when we get this projection from MERS, and I'm not aware that we've ever looked at that to see where we might be in the future. But our hope is, since that is one of the biggest divisions, and since it's been closed for so many years, that hopefully that liability starts declining quick enough that our contribution won't have to be very big to stay overfunded with all the divisions combined.
Okay. No further questions? Well, you get a move?
Yes.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Mayor Domingo.
Yes, thank you. The request the approval of Resolution 2015-13, request from the Albion Building Authority to the Albion Trust for funding of the Food Hub project.
So move. Support.
Moved and supported. Questions? Which one are you, want to be? Question? Peggy or Sandy? Either one of you? Either one of us will take. Okay. Oh, Jeff. Well, hi, Jeff.
Oh, I didn't even see Jeff.
Yes.
I just want to know, were your questions answered?
Yeah, so let me just give an update. When council got its packet last week, I asked for some additional information regarding the existing funding and what awarded funds had been awarded to this project. And Peggy Sint and Cheryl Mitchell both provided the entire council with a very large packet full of information regarding grants from various people, from the Community Foundation, from Battle Creek Community Foundation, from the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, and the USDA. We also got an accounting from Tom about the money that has been spent already on the project, and so I'm feeling quite confident that this is going to be money well spent. In Peggy's remarks, and Peggy, you can back me up on this, that it's the Food Hub project, but it's not necessarily the Food Hub. The money is going to be used for the creation or the renovation of a building space into which the Food Hub will reside. And I think that my concerns were assuaged in that what we're doing is we're supporting the redevelopment of a building that some entity will move into. We are not necessarily supporting that entity and throwing money after an organization that is that new. So I'm feeling quite confident both that the Food Hub has the ability to generate its own resources through its successful grant writing campaigns that it's had, but also that that we're supporting the redevelopment of the downtown building, which is something that we should be doing. So yes, I'm confident and will support this motion.
Okay. Any other questions?
The only question I have is, so the units that will be developed, and I guess in the upper story there, that'll go back, profits, that'll go back to ABA? Does that go
The
back to
apartments
ABA?
will.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, that has nothing to do with the Food Hub.
Right.
So, and I also got a quick email tonight that it looks like they're gonna get into the SNAP benefit.
Yeah.
Which is the bridge cards.
Right.
So that's a plus for down there.
Really, yeah.
And that will also help the farmer's market end of it, because that's where bridge cards and them, I think, also double theirs quantities in order to purchase from our local farmers, and that will also take place out of that building. So I think that's a plus.
Thank you, Peggy, for your help. I really appreciate it.
Yes, Cheryl.
I just have a really quick question, Peggy. When are you going to be done? I think there's a lot of people that are asking that, so.
A lot of it depends on when the building gets renovated, and of course, that's dependent upon its request that we hope you will allow to go to the trust. The bid documents are just about done. We have a few details to work out. They're going to have 30 days to respond once they do go out. And then hopefully we'll have a good bid and we'll go right out for construction. So it'll be later this year, but at this point, I can't tell you exactly.
One of my concerns is I think one of the best places or the best times to use it will be when we have harvest. Do you think it will be ready for this year's harvest?
Well, I don't know if the kitchen will be up and running.
That's what I'm wondering.
But I don't know if council's all aware that the chamber has handed off the summer farmers market to us.
Oh.
And so we'll be operating that and intending that that will kind of morph then into a winter market. So
Okay.
one way or another, I would anticipate that, yes, at least the market part of it would be going
Be
fine.
ready.
And I would love to have the kitchen
That
open.
would be wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any further questions?
Mayor
No?
Domingo, I would just like to
Yes,
point out.
I'm sorry.
in-
Cheryl, do you have a question?
I have a comment, thank you.
Comment.
In regards to the request from the ABA that those items that go to the Albion Trust are to meet a public purpose, and that can include the acquiring, furnishing, equipping, improving, the operating of public buildings, so that does fit that criteria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
If there are no further questions, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Mayor Domingo.
Yes. Thank you. C has been replaced with Cullen Harsken in the Boudwin Law Office, so we're going to, did you hand me something, Cullen?
Yes, he did.
The what?
I didn't hand you anything, no.
Okay. To accept his resignation from Boudwin?
Well, let me just, I guess, clarify for the council. I mean, I've tendered my resignation to our managing partner that'll be effective at the end of April. And, obviously, I'd love to continue representing the city in my new, with our new office. Essentially, what's going to happen is the entire East Lansing office is actually going to be leaving and joining me at my office. So really, nothing is going to change in terms of personnel, resources. The office will be a little bit further down the road, but that's about it. Pursuant to the rules of Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct, all I can really tell the council is you have three options. I mean, you can remain with Bodwin Law Firm. You can opt to come with me to the new firm, or you can select a totally different third-party counsel. Obviously, it'd be I would love to continue representing the city. I think over the last 3.5 years, we made a lot of progress and done a lot of work and gotten the city through a lot of legal battles, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So what I've presented to the council is a proposed contract. And I don't want to persuade you in any direction, but it's just a proposal. What would have to happen is the contract with Bodwin would have to be rescinded. There's a 90-day out clause with that particular contract. What I would propose is also pursuant to the Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct, once a firm is discharged, they can't continue representation beyond a certain point. So my proposal would be that that they discontinue representation at the end of April, but that the city pay out the entire 90 days. The number that you've got in the proposed contract absorbs that month of May. And so essentially, under the new contract for 2015, you'd be getting 8 months of work for 7 months pay. The new contract reduces the annual retainer down from just slightly under 90,000 down to 85.
Yes, Cheryl, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'd like to make a motion that we discharge the contract of Bodwin and Associates and pursuant to a contract that's satisfactory for both us and Colin Harkness and the new group that he will be with, that we discuss contracting with his group.
I would support that. So does Len.
Is there a question?
So the motion is to basically, okay, I'll say it this way. So, I appreciate, Colin's, work for us. I think he's done an excellent job. My only concern is just, I just found out this today. I would have preferred to have a little bit more information about what took place for you to, to leave and more about that with the firm. For our part of have some due diligence about that. So I think before we just end a contract that we have with a firm, we should have at least some information about what happened before we just do that. So I don't know if you really can give that.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, at no point do I want to make my exit about what may or may not have been wrong with the firm. I mean, for me, I was just not happy with how the firm was operating.
Okay.
I think our managing partner is a fantastic attorney and a great guy. I just was not happy with how the office was operating, and a change was needed. So,
Okay.
I mean, and that's it.
Yeah, and I don't have any issue with that. I guess this just the concern I had is, and this has been throughout my years on council, is that to make sure that if we're asked to make a decision, we're not, I'm not finding out about it the very night that I'm asked to make it. Right, so that's been an ongoing concern, and has nothing to do on on the work you've done, which has been terrific. So I would be fine with this be putting on, like the next agenda or something like that, but to just like end a contract with some, that we've entered into without having,
Right. I have a motion and a second on the floor, so, go ahead, Maurice.
The situation is that there are certain things Cullen can't provide us by law, period. However, our experience and my experience with Cullen has been exemplary. His decision to move forward, to start his own business is key, and our relationship with him is paramount for him to move forward, and I'm asking council to support the move. Thank you. Good night.
Are there any further questions? If not, the motion on the floor is wrote. Can you read that, please?
Yes, to discontinue representation with, discharge contract with Boudwin and discuss contract with Cullen Harkness and new firm.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Or do it in two motions.
Well, I guess my suggestion also would be is have the discharge be effective on the 30th of April.
Okay.
Okay. And that's added to the motion?
Should I just,
That's on the floor.
do I need to make an amendment to my
amendment?
motion?
I will make that as a friendly amendment.
Okay.
the one question I had, so, and what I'm saying is, okay, so are there two parts to the motion? There's one to discharge.
Now
right?
it's all one part with the second motion to add the 30th of April.
Okay, but there's nothing about, like, there's nothing about approving the next contract?
No.
Okay.
Okay?
Roll call.
Is that gonna do what you needed to do?
And I'm, at some point, I mean, you'll have to let me know how you want to handle doing a new contract. I mean, you've got.
Oh, yeah,
That's gonna be the
right,
next.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yes, that's all you need to do then, yes.
okay. So from here on out, you'll work for free until we get a contract.
That's why I was, see, that's why I didn't get any more into that.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Kraus,
Yes,
French,
Yes.
Barnes,
Happily, yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
No.
Mayor Domingo.
Yes. Okay. D,
Before you move on, what's
oh,
the instruction?
before I move on, Cheryl has another.
Yeah, if you don't mind. So was the direction to have this item on the next agenda before council, or did you also want a closed session to discuss anything?
I
pertaining-
Yes,
I
I
think-
think we need to go into a
Yeah,
closed
to a
session.
closed session.
Prior. We can put it on the next agenda and go into a closed session afterwards, but that might be a little kind of backwards. So,
Right, we'll work it out.
but I think he needs, he's got what he needs to do to go further with this. And that, so, yes, you had a question, Marie?
No, I was,
Okay.
you said it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Do we need to modify the agenda so that we can put a motion, or is this just gonna be adding to the agenda?
That'd be, when we move down.
I think it's
to,
it's a new
future
agenda
motion-
item.
right?
Future agenda item.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could put it under future agenda
Yeah.
items,
yeah,
correct? Sure.
I would think so.
There it is, future agenda items.
Okay, now I lost my place again.
Future agenda items.
Future agenda items.
No,
Yeah.
I got a request for approval of Maurice Barnes' resignation from the council liaison's position with the Albion Housing Commission.
Oh, this is.
I think you all
not
had that
revised.
copy. That due to a conflict with
It's
this
not-
job I have recently started, I am resigning as the Albion City Council liaison effective immediately.
So moved.
Moved,
Support.
Support.
seconded. Any questions?
So, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Thank you, Mayor. So the question then becomes, what does the formal relationship look like between this entity and the city of Albion? Councilman Barnes's position as a liaison has been less than 4 years. So are we asking to return to having that organization report to us in a formal way at periodic times at council meetings? Do we want to appoint another member to act as the liaison on behalf of the city? What's the pleasure of the council?
I think we probably ought to have them come and make a report to us, no less than quarterly,
Okay.
like we asked the other entities to
Right.
do
Okay.
at this point in time.
Excellent.
And then we'll look at the wording and the writing that we did up, and we can go from there, so.
Okay.
Yes, Maurice?
Well, the city charter affords the Housing Commission and all boards to submit their minutes to the city clerk in a timely fashion. I would ask that if council decided to stay with the liaison position, that we define the role in conjunction with how they feel they want the role defined. I would also ask that elected officials should be treated fairly and equitable in being nominated to the Albion Housing Commission as provided by law, and we're not prohibited. Having been in that seat, I would think that it would be in our better interests to dissolve the liaison position, which was a mayoral appointment that I thank you for, Mayor, because we have every legal right to have an elected official on that board by law, if the mayor chooses so to nominate it and council affirms. I just would like to see, as I stated when I first was elected, that all of our boards just have our oversight and period. Thank you.
So we've been motioned to move. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Kraus,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
and Mayor Domingo.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Now we're at further agenda items. Yes, Andy.
So I'd like to put on the agenda discussion and/or action to enter into contract negotiations with Cullen Harkness LLC, PLC,
Harkness Law Firm PLLC.
Harkness Law Firm PLLC, to serve as our city attorney effective April 25th of 2015.
May 1st.
May
Oh,
1st.
oh, you want some vacation?
I'm on vacation the 24th through the 2nd.
I'll consider that a friendly
I
amendment.
know. I know. He just
Man, if
wants
they don't
everything.
have their hands in our pockets, they got them in everybody else.
Support.
Well, this is future agenda items.
Yeah, it's a future agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think we probably need an executive session, but I think we have to provide opportunity for the public to weigh in, so,
Yep, we have to,
yeah.
we'll get that all wrote up and,
Yeah.
and get that taken care of. And are there any further, do we need to take one step further with the housing commission on our,
yeah,
That probably needs to be dissolved.
I don't know if we, do we?
yes, Marie?
Oh, he's not weigh in.
I think it would be fair to let them come in and state a position on it if they want to continue that position, because
Yeah.
they are a board under our
Sure.
authority.
Okay. Yes,
Also,
Cheryl?
I'd like to finish, I would ask that the housing continue to submit a housing board packet to the city clerk for us
Okay,
in this absence. Thank you.
yes, Cheryl?
I'm fine with dissolving the position if that's what they want. However, I do think that it's important that quarterly, at least, they come and report to us. We have other entities that do, and they should not be excluded from that.
Okay,
And I think that's very important.
so what we'll
I agree with that.
Yeah.
put that on there and go through that.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you this time, before I just move on to the next, do you have any more?
Funny you should ask.
That's why I never ask, because you always got more.
Okay. First of all, you have before you, I handed out some of the handouts that we've received recently. One is for the home rehabilitation and emergency home repair program through Community Action and the Oakland County Land Bank, and it provides an opportunity to get long-term loans for your house rehabilitation, up to $35,000 in repairs, or emergency home repairs, $5,000. And the contact information is telephone number 877-422-2726, and that's available to Albion residents. Also, the Land Bank also has a program called their Neighborhood Mow and Maintenance Program, and any community organization or neighborhood group could be eligible to earn $3,000 for the maintenance of 20 properties over the summer. So it's a way to earn some dollars for your organizations, as well as help with cleaning up the neighborhood. So we encourage people to participate in that. We received a notice today from Cindy at the library that they did not receive the opportunity to participate in the StoryCorps program. So, but I'm sure if I know Cindy, she's going to come up with something just as exciting. And we had a very interesting conversation this week with several representatives of the Trail Network Alliances. And the conversation is around making the city of Albion really the hub for both the state lake-to-lake trail network as well as the national trails. And we're already in the process of putting forth some grant applications to make these things happening. And we have Danielle in the audience as well, the intern from the college, and she's working diligently on a bike program. We want to get a kickoff of a Ride Albion program this summer. And so it's really exciting. Some things are starting to happen here. So, and in regards to that also, I'm going to try real hard to also get a grant relative to the Holland Park. Both of these grants are due April 1st. So, okay, I think my desk is messy now. But we were really going to try to see what we can do to get some additional resources to support the recreational activities here in Albion. And I also wanted to let you know that I just recently hired Larry Williams as a recreation programming coordinator to help getting the programs off relative to the recreation department. There's a lot of great things going on. We're starting some new partnerships, including talking with the Y in terms of them bringing programs here, as well as transporting people to their facilities. So it's a lot of things that are really getting off the ground. And I shared with you the criminal background check policy, and I was requested by Councilmember Brown to bring that forward because it does impact your appointees to boards and commissions as well. So we can work out some of those details, and I do hear the concerns relative to being very hard-nosed relative to people who have turned their lives around and giving them an opportunity. So that will be taken into consideration as well. Oh, and the last. May is celebrated as Michigan Week in the state of Michigan as the governor's program. So I've been in conversations with Harry Bonner as well as Amy DeShawn from the chamber. So we're going to kick that off here in Albion. So we'll have Albion Week and some celebrations of our local businesses and the things that we make and do and provide. So we're really looking forward to doing that. And there'll be some proclamations from our elected officials and some activities around it.
Yes, go ahead.
Are there any applications on hand or for the mowing neighborhood maintenance program, or we have to call them?
I think I gave you a
Yeah, I got
flyer. Yeah, that's the one piece I have.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Because I haven't heard much about it. The Recreation Master Plan, that committee, when is the deadline for
The end of the year.
the committee appointments?
Oh, for the appointments?
Yeah.
If we could get those by the first week of April, that would be good, so we can bring them to the council.
Yes, Cheryl?
Well, I'm not sure if I did this last meeting or not, so I'm going to do it this meeting. And I'm going to have help from the city manager. Cheryl Mitchell, who is our new city manager this year, was a recipient of the Wonder Woman Award, and that's WON, those are all capitals. In Oakland County, from what I understand, is quite a prestigious award, and it's a leadership award. And she will be presented with that award on the 30th of April at 7 o'clock in Troy, Michigan. But I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge the fact that when we chose a city manager, we chose somebody that is known in other areas of the state. And those of you who are from Oakland County or know of Oakland County know that it's a very progressive county, and it is doing very well financially, and Cheryl was part of that before she came to Albion. So I just wanted to congratulate her, and I wanted the citizens of Albion to know that she has shown her worth other places too, so.
And I went on the internet and I found out that it's Thursday, April 30th. At 5:30 is the reception, 7 o'clock is the dinner, followed by the awards presentation, and it will be at the San Marino Club at 1685 East Big Beaver Road in Troy.
So are we going to get a bus or a van to crash
Maybe
that
we can
party?
even get the whole train, because I know so many people coming.
Right.
You want to put that on a future
Doesn't change
agenda
your
item?
evaluation at all.
Can we put that, can we put that on a future agenda item?
Yeah,
We already
put
have
that
them
on a
in.
future agenda.
Okay, boy, that was a lot for just future agenda items. I need a motion to excuse Bill Wheaton from
So moved.
council.
Support.
Moved and supported. Voice vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. It's okay. Citizens' comments. Now it's your turn. Persons addressing the city council shall limit their comments to no more than 5 minutes. Proper protocol and decorum is required. Do I have anybody from the audience, citizens, that would like to come up and give your name, your address? No?
Sweet.
Wow. Now I'm really disappointed.
What, so, which course? Oh. Yeah.
He's done this before.
Yeah, I know, yeah, I know.
Done this before, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Mayor Domingo and city council members. My name is Darwin Dabney. I'm a professor at Albion College, and as you can tell, we're probably representing the lion's share of your audience remaining here right now. These are students enrolled in the public policy analysis course in political science. You have students who are equally a part of the Gerald Ford Institute, and let's see, you may have some students here representing Student Senate as well.
Oh.
So folks from a number of different capacities present today. And let's see, they, as a course assignment, are coming here you have 2 council meetings a month, and they're showing up on the first council meeting of each month. So you can expect to see them again in April. They were in attendance in the January and the February council meetings. And what they are learning is city-level legislation. And also, for the course, they're also learning about policymaking and the policymaking steps as well. We had the pleasure of having Councilmember Kraus in the class last week, sharing with her expertise on council, but equally her experiences as a director for the Albion's student health services that are provided. So we're making full use of council here for this course, and we're equally interested in getting more involved. This course is also about community development and civic engagement, and certainly we have students here who are active members of the city, but also at the college. I think I got lucky in terms of my enrollment because I have really great students, and they are willing to support your programs. They want to be a part of the city planning in terms of improving the quality of life here in the city. So thank you, and you'll see us again in April.
Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome. You're always welcome. You don't have to come to the first one. You can come to the second one too. So, yes.
Dan.
Zach Cribbs. I guess my address in Albion is in the Kellogg Center technically, but I'm from Mason, Michigan. I'm here representing Student Senate. There's a couple other senators in the audience, and we will be sending representation to all the meetings, at least for the rest of this school semester, and hopefully next year as well. But I'm graduated by then, so it's their business. I'd also like to draw attention, we also have our student newspaper, the Pleiad. They're also sending representation as well, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Happy now?
Well, huh?
Happy now?
If there is no further, I will ask for an adjournment.
So moved.
Moved and supported. Roll call vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. And we thank you all very much. Don't forget our meeting tomorrow night, DC building, 6 o'clock.
Might be a few minutes late because I got a 5